I just realised I don't have a drink of water. So, I'm gonna go get that. Give me a minute. Right. I'm still recovering from yesterday with the dinner, especially. That was brutal. Jesus. Ah. Again? Ugh. So many yawns. I'm tired. I'm just tired. So I suppose I better get on with the topic at hand. So, the Gran Turismo video. Number 15 in the RIR series. And it popped off. So, to give you a simple understanding of the degree to which it popped off, there are a few videos on my channel that have done pretty well, all told. One of which is the Intelligent Cube video from last year. And I'm going to go scroll down to that and find that. Yep, 21st of May 2021. Now that one lies at 129 views and has done so for about 3 months since August, or since the end of August. So if we assume that this is about May to August, so a little over a year and a quarter, it has accumulated 129 views with view time 18.1 hours, which is a pretty impressive number, and well, for me at least, and a fair chunk of my viewership hangs on for the duration of the video, which is, it's a good video. It went well. By comparison, the Gran Turismo video just absolutely destroyed it. The only thing it didn't destroy it on is watch time. It's about half an hour less than the amount of time used for Intelligent Cube, but the view numbers. 135. There are more people. What Intelligent Cube did in 1 year and a quarter, the Gran Turismo review did in 2.5 days. 2.5 days. It's actually insane that it did that. So, you might be wondering then, why am I talking about this other than just being like, yo, that's kind of cool. Well, here's the thing. It's great that it got a lot of views, and I'm also very happy that it's released at the right time, because fundamentally that's why it did as well as it did for me. But I also have to acknowledge that it's not a great review in terms of its editing, and I rushed it out. So I'm going to give a few pointers as to why I say this. So, to begin, I'm going to start out with a problem with the editing, and in particular, I want to start out with an issue with the middle of the video, pretty much, the 32-minute 40 mark, I think one of the guys mentioned, where there was a single clip used to talk about the cars, I think, and it showcased a glitchy section of a replay for a race at Grand Valley Reverse, where what happens is the camera will... Well, what will happen is the replay will halt for a few seconds and then slowly hitch along until it eventually picks speed back up. I'm not sure why it happens, and I did not vet the footage for that, so that's why it didn't show up. Now, that's on me, because I didn't check that despite rendering the first 40 minutes of the video. And the reason why I did that was to make sure that the audio was working, because I was having weird audio problems because of how I tend to edit videos. I do have a way of working around that problem, but that's neither here nor there right now. The point is, I didn't actually watch much of the video, or at least pay much attention to it, which does not help when you're trying to do this properly. So yeah, I ended up with a piece of that video, a clip that shouldn't have been there in the video, where it was. Now, that's not to say that the clip I used would have been inappropriate for use at all, because I could have used that in the section where I talked about glitches, but I didn't, because the last few chapters are an exercise in getting something out of the door as quickly as I could, and I am not happy about that, because it's plain to see in especially the final chapter, the conclusion, where I didn't really edit the sound properly at all. So the backing music is, for the entire section of that, it's Moon Over the Castle, because of course it is. But what I also do is, whenever I'm about to put a game back on the shelf, I add a fade. Well, I split the track and then I add a fade to smoothly go into a louder volume So instead of it being at minus 21 decibels, it goes to minus 6 decibels in a second or so. That's my preferred way of doing it. But I also kind of dropped the ball on that because I did not add a fade. Which, yeah. I also didn't finish the section off about the credits. That's the bit. I didn't finish off the credits properly because I just rushed it out. I got the credits written, did basic editing to the text, didn't do anything too fancy, and I ended up with the whole thing being rushed out the door to a point where the end bit in particular, the post-credits bit, well, that's going to require a little bit of explanation. So, what happens is this thing goes into an interface using an XLR cable, and XLR cables, particularly 3-pin ones, are mono. So it goes into the interface and it takes it as a single channel. And in the programs that I use to record sound, to record my voice for voiceover, I'm always making sure that it's mixed in mono. So that, and I export it in mono as well, so that in the editing software, DaVinci Resolve, it's stereo. I do this mainly because it makes sense to me. I've done it this way since switching over, and I think it's a fine way to do it. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it also cuts down on the file size, it being mono. I think. I don't have any... I haven't checked, but to me that would make sense because you're only using the one channel instead of two, so that's whatever. But yeah, in effect, what happens is I put the audio into a stereo track, mainly because it allows me to go left ear mono, right ear mono, or rather left ear channel 1, right ear channel 1. That way it's a bit boomier by default, because normally on a mono track it's not very boomy at all, or not very loud. The way that I do it makes it loud by default, and therefore makes it clearer to me. I did not do that for the post-credits bit because it just kind of did not get touched. I forgot to change the clip attributes, so me going, oh hey, I forgot about the tourist trophy. Yeah, that's mono now. So yeah, that's not good. Yeah. If there's one thing that I don't like about what I did, it was that I made the video into a bit of a rush job. And I can only really blame myself for that because I did not handle this video nearly as well as I would have liked. I did not start editing this thing until way too late. And one other problem that I didn't particularly like is that I couldn't edit the... well, it was done so late that I didn't even have the captions finished. So I do the captions alongside the video. That way it's immediately more accessible when it gets uploaded, because once it's uploaded, I don't have to wait for the captions to be done. And people can watch the video there and then and not worry about being able to understand my voice, because I can sometimes be a little tricky to understand because I can be a bit mumbly. Yeah. So one thing I'm going to say now is that it's not entirely my fault for all of this, because DaVinci Resolve is a hog for system stuff. So right now, my setup for DaVinci Resolve is I have all the footage on spinning platters on hard disks, whereas my operating system and DaVinci Resolve are on my SSD, my M.2 SSD. It's a PCIe Gen 4 Doodler, and yeah, it's pretty good. But I also need to use a cache drive, and that one happens to be something. I'm going to check because I can't remember. This is probably going to cause the stream to go all weird for a moment. So if you give me a moment. But yeah, fundamentally, it's a bit of a ride. There we go, Gran Turismo. Let's have a look. What do I have the cache set to? Because I don't think it's going to be anything good. Let's see, file, project settings. Let's see, path map. Oh no. Don't think that's what I'm after. Okay, how's about preferences? I think that's what I'm after. Oh. Preferences. Media storage. The first media storage location in the above list will be used to store gallery stills and cache files. This location should be permanently connected to your system. So yeah, it's using my C drive, which is not good at all. I don't want it to be using that. What I'm going to have to do is use a different SSD for this in particular. Now, thankfully, I have one on the way. I ordered a Kingston KC3000 1TB SSD to plug into the other M.2 thing on the board. So that should be sufficient for my needs. Hopefully all of this is hunky-dory by the time I need to get it all done, because that would be pretty damn neat. But as it is right now, it's a bit disappointing, really, because it's a video that it's a game that I wanted to cover seriously. I really wanted to cover the game in as good a way as I could possibly do. And as far as the writing is concerned, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with what I've done there. I did have to snip a few things out in the voiceover process because I figured that a whole bunch of it was just kind of unnecessary fluff. But for the most part, it's good. For the most part. It's just that there are bits that really drag it down for me. Even if they're not especially significant in the grand scheme of things, they add up in a way that I am not comfortable with. So, because of that, I tend not to be very happy with the video, unfortunately. So, because of that, I'm going to be doing a few things. So, of course, there's the SSD to use as a cache and scratch disk. There is also going to be a somewhat different approach to the video making process, where I'm actually taking it a bit more seriously ahead of time, so that I can make the videos earlier than I currently do, or at least start making them earlier. Also, I want to start making videos about other things, so a bit like the Sandworms and Jollibees video, where I talk about the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. I want to do videos like that more often, about things that just interest me. And I also want to do more streaming, of course, because I don't do enough stuff on the channel. That's the main problem. But yeah, just moving back onto the Gran Turismo video real quick, though. I do massively appreciate that people have been watching the video, and you know, for as much as I criticize it, it's people clearly have been watching it. I'm looking at the numbers now, and clearly it's being watched. It was even being watched by the time I loaded up the stream. So yeah, people are paying attention to it. I can't really criticize that. It's just that I did things that I should not have done. And I've also done things that have affected it in a way that I'm just not happy with. So if you've enjoyed the video, then that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to tell you what to not like, because I'm not that kind of person. At the end of the day, I can't tell you what to like or not like. It's down to you in the end. All I can say is, I'm better than this. Is my point. I've done better reviews than this. Even those that have a couple minor issues with them, like a spelling error or something. The Intelligent Cube video that I referenced earlier, that's a better review, because it's just better edited. This one, for the most part, it's still good. I'm not going to criticize it that much anymore. It's just that if you're new to the channel, then just know that from here it will get better, because it's going to be a lot smoother, a lot less janky, and fundamentally just better. That's the long and short of it. Just better. So on the whole, it's not bad. It's not terrible. It's just that I could have done better. But I released it at the right time, and because of that, it got a lot of attention. Now, I will grant that to many, 136 views isn't a great deal of views. But to me, the last time I've had anywhere near that number of views is the Intelligent Cube video, and the last time before that, I am having to go way back to a shitpost video that I put up towards the back end of 2019, just before the start of Retro Import Review. Like, that is where I have to go in order to find a video that has even close to that level of viewership. But yeah, fundamentally, this is where I'm at. Things will get better. and hopefully in the new year I'll have a couple videos that will be particularly good and well edited and well recorded and all of that. I'm still learning all these programs that I got a few months ago, or a year ago almost, so it will take time, but fundamentally I'm happy with where I am. I'm just hoping that I can maintain the momentum. So, with all of this in mind, if you have any suggestions of what I ought to cover, please let me know in the however you want to let me know. In the last, if you want me to, I'll cover basically anything at this point for the most part. So yeah, if you have any suggestions of what I ought to cover, please let me know. I'm up for covering many things. The description has my website, which in turn has my collection and wish list of all the retro video games that I have. There's also my Twitter to keep up to date with everything that I'm up to, and there is also my Instagram if you want to see what I occasionally post on there. It's mainly stuff to do with the channel, but you could put some other things on there, I suppose. Branch out a little bit. And before I go, it is very possible that the next review, I'm currently doing a little bit of a test run just to make sure that I'm into it, but it could very well end up being Front Mission. I've been playing around with this a little bit, and I'm liking what I'm playing so far. I'm going to do a couple more missions before I end up committing to it, though. All things told, this is a pretty good game from what I've played of it so far. I've only done like the first mission or so. Yeah. This could end up being the next review. If it is the next review, this will be done in January. Not January, February. So, with all of this being said, there's... let me know if there's anything you want me to cover. There's my website in the description, my Twitter, my Instagram. Go check out the other reviews like the Gran Turismo review, or the Intelligent Cube review, or the Omega Boost review, or any other review out there that I've done. And that's basically it. This has been Daniel Learmouth. City.